Um, and I'm going to make you guys really, really tiny so I can actually work on my screen. So I actually am going to be talking about marketing yourself using online platforms. Um, and of course, I think a good place to start would be to talk about who I am. So my name is Patricia Mumba. I am an educator and an architectural designer. I specialize in makerspace education, specifically design thinking and project-based learning. I'm the founder of a nonprofit in the US called Engage, Inspire, and Empower, and we support people transitioning into the American education system. And I'm the focal point for Phenomenal Women Global in Boston. So if you see anything that says Phenomenal Women Global Boston, it's probably because I didn't sleep the night before and now it's happening. The first question that I've asked myself, and I think all of us should ask ourselves with this conversation, is who are you? Whenever I think of branding, when I think of representing myself, I really start with working within me and asking myself who I am before I can represent myself to other people. Because I'm going to be touching on something called authenticity. And it's very hard to be authentic if you really haven't done the work to figure out who you are and what you want to represent. So a few things to keep in mind as I present, because I'm going to be going really, really fast. I'm going to be talking about specific brands and how they work to promote you personally versus as a business. I will definitely touch on what you can post and what you absolutely cannot post. I'll talk about the etiquette of some of these platforms because there are some that you kind of need to be an insider to know what to post to be successful. I will touch on frequency and consistency, which is a kind of, it changes based on what you want to put out there and how much traction and what kind of business you are, but I'll touch on it. And the most important thing for me is authenticity. I feel like the most successful personal brands and business brands are those that are really real and honest, as well as have a story to tell. So I will start us off with the brand that everyone kind of knows or is very familiar with, which is LinkedIn. I have the privilege of working really closely with people that have worked in LinkedIn, but also I've worked a lot with it. And I can personally say that it has helped me a lot when it comes to recruitment and networking. The most important thing to remember about LinkedIn for me is that LinkedIn is really split into two. It has a personal side and it has a business side. Those two things don't really look alike and they really don't function the same. So that's the first thing to think about when you're setting up a LinkedIn. Are you going in as a business or as a person? And this is going to affect the feed that you post. It's going to affect how your profile looks like. It's going to affect the kind of page you have, as well as the groups you are part of and who you follow. And I'll talk about it in a second. So we'll start with LinkedIn on a personal profile level. The most important things I think in terms of LinkedIn really is that first image. The image, the profile picture is so important on LinkedIn. And the quick things I can tell you about it, it should express who you are, but it should also be professional. This is not Facebook, this is not Snapchat, it's not like these are the casual people. This is an office online. Preferably, if you can get a black or white background, that would be great. If you can get a professional to really get really good headshots taken of you, those would be ideal for LinkedIn. This is a great place to show your education. And you can specifically talk about as far back as high school based on how far you are in your career. But if you're beyond master's level, you probably don't need to talk about your high school level education. You have to include your work history, which is important because when I get to endorsements and recommendations, your work history plays a really good role in that area. It's a great place to talk about accomplishments, like if you have been asked to speak at an event, if you've carried out a workshop before, if you have gotten a training and you've passed it, those are great things to add to your LinkedIn profile. And skills. So people who are public speakers, you're good at Microsoft Office, you're really good at Adobe Creative Suite. Those are things you can include on your LinkedIn profile. And I'll skip down to groups so I can keep it with the things that need to include. So on your personal profile, when you're working with groups on LinkedIn, join groups that match your views. So if you want to be viewed a specific way, when you're joining a group, look at what that group represents. If it doesn't match what you believe and what you want to represent, that's maybe not a good idea to join that group. So really be intentional in the groups that you join when you're in LinkedIn. And then the last one would be endorsements and recommendations. These sound kind of similar because you're giving someone feedback almost, or sharing what they do well. The difference is an endorsement is based on your skills. So if I walked onto Charity's profile and she had said one of her skills was public speaking or moderation, I would endorse her saying that she's a good, I would basically give her a rating of like 5 stars or 4 stars or 3 stars. And a recommendation is different. A recommendation, Charity would have to reach out to me and say either maybe we work together or I've been your mentor or things like that. And you would request that person and say, could you please share a recommendation about me? And so that's a personal thing. It's almost like you would write a letter almost. So that's the difference. So when you're choosing endorsements, remember it's just a skill set. It's just a little star on your profile. A recommendation is something written with intentionality. There's wording that goes into it. So choose people that you know their recommendation will mean something if it's on your LinkedIn profile. And then when we switch to business profiles, now that's different in a way that you're now selling a story, a narrative, a group of people. The beauty of a business profile is you can usually profile pictures are not as hard when it comes to business profiles because usually it's the logo of the company. The tricky part when it comes to a business profile is the feed, what you post on your feed. I always recommend businesses to post what they're achieving and what they're working on. So it doesn't have to be like every time something big happens, that's when you post, but it can also be like, for example, if you're an interior designer and you checked out a space and you're excited about it, take some photos, post and say, I really was excited about this space and this is why I like it. So people can keep interacting with the things that excite your company, the things that you think about, the process you go through to deliver the services that you do. So that's kind of what the feed does. Company information is really important. Best light of how your company treats its employees. Please include that in your company information. You can post jobs on there. You can include all the people that work for you on your business profile, so they can actually be linked on there and they can give reviews to the company. And then you can make advertisements or commercials, as we call them in the States. You can make advertisements on LinkedIn. So that's the beauty of the business profile. It works a little bit different from a personal one, but some of the bare bones are kind of the same. So I'll move on to Instagram. And I know a lot of people view Instagram as social media and never really give it a chance in terms of business. But as somebody who has dived into personal branding with Instagram, it's actually something that is worth knowing and knowing the sides of it that we don't always see because we always know the personal Instagram. So I'll start with a personal page. So there's a difference between a personal page and a personal account. So the account that we all have where we have friends and post any pictures, that's a private account that only people who follow you can see. A personal page is if you are branding yourself as a person. And that it can sometimes be confused as a business profile. But the way it works is if you look at the images I have on the screen, the one that's to the left is a personal account, right? And it says following, and it just says how many followers she has and how many posts. And then the one to the right, you realize that it says it has a website link on it. It says what she does. It also says you can edit its profile. The new personal pages, you can also include companies that have maybe shared their advertisements with you and you're maybe paid to work with them. You can share those in the bio. The most important thing to remember about a personal page on Instagram is your bio is really important. It's really, really short. It's like maybe 200 or 300 words, but you have to include everything that you want people to know about you in there. So really find a way of representing who you are in as few words as possible. The other thing I can talk about is personal pages sometimes influencers and people who are branding as personal brands. Sometimes it overlaps, sometimes it doesn't. So that's something to be aware of. Are you branding yourself just as you and the skills that you're able to share with people, or as an influencer, which is you kind of are curating what people should like or dislike online? Those are two things to think about. And then I think the final thing I would say about these pages is always consistency and frequency. If you want people to engage with you on Instagram, you almost have to post, I would say, daily, either on your page or on your story. People find a routine. Some people post every 3 days, some people post every 5 days, but on their story, they're constantly engaging their followers. So that's something to think about. When it goes into a business profile, where it's if I own a company, how does my profile look like? They look very similar, but the difference is you're keeping track of your page, but you're also keeping track of the insights of that page, and you're also keeping track of the things that you sell on your page. So there's a lot of other things that you could do with Instagram business that wouldn't specifically be available to you if it was a personal, like, public figure page. The beauty of the insights part is you can see how many people engage with your materials, when they engage, what's more interesting, so you can adjust as you go. And you can also, as you see those little circles to the right, on the profile to the right, those are highlights on a story on Instagram. You can specifically curate those to show the things that you work on over time, like throughout the year. So if people check out your page today and you've been available on Instagram for 3 years, they can look back at least in the year's work and see what you've been working on, what you've been posting, what you've been up to. Then we'll move on to Facebook. This one is more familiar to a lot of us. And I'm just gonna mention a few things about it. If you have a personal page on Facebook, remember, this is not a personal account. This is a page. You're building yourself as a brand. The profile picture is just as important, just like in LinkedIn, something that's professionally taken, but also represents who you are. The about part is really important. Really think about what you're writing in the about page, because whatever you write there is what people will see first before they consider following you or liking your page. The content is really important, and I think Christine will talk about this, but really think about the content you're giving out. That's really important. And then, of course, consistency and frequency. Come up with a routine and be consistent about that routine. If you're always going live on your page every Monday at 8 a.m., that should be the norm for as long as. Consistency helps your followers just relate with you much better. Business page. That's something that's a little bit different on Facebook, and it's one of those where you can add a shop, you can add your website, you can build a community on there of people who buy things from you. You can build groups on there. So, for example, if you're a business that's in a let's say like you cover the whole of Africa, you can make groups for every country in Africa, and that they can all kind of access their different groups based on what they need to be solved, so you can get your services closer to the people, which is great about Facebook business page. And then a group page. So you can have group pages under a business page or under a personal page, but you could also just have a group page. So let's say if you, for example, if I wanted to start a movement today and it was about rethinking who you are post-COVID, I could start a group and name it post-COVID, or like who you are. And in that group, I would name it that, and it would be a closed group. And the whole idea is it's by invitation, and there's a specific amount of people that are the organizers of it. So I could maybe have 3 or 4 people that work with me to let people into this group. The thing with Facebook group that you have to keep in mind is there's very specific guidelines, especially about cyberbullying. So if you're starting a group, you have to intentionally talk about keeping, what can you post, how can you talk to people, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, things like that. Because should anything happen in terms of bullying or um um somebody getting hurting themselves because of a group on Facebook, they could pull down the group. So that's something that I almost commend Facebook for having on groups, because with all the social media, people get really confident behind screens that they forget that people they're talking to are human beings. um and then finally, one of the newer things about Facebook is marketplace. If you're a company that's selling products, you can actually have a page on marketplace, that you can put your individual products and their prices, and people can go on there and purchase them. Um, the way that I've noticed marketplace works, it works better based on proximity. So if you start your business in let's say Switzerland, and you live in Geneva, people in Geneva can buy your things based on proximity. And if they typed into their marketplace, you would come up quicker than to somebody who's in Kampala. Someone in Kampala is going to get marketplace pages that are closer to them there. But there are some people that have marketplace pages that can ship. That said, then they can cover more places. So that's something to think about. And if you look at this image, it says location, and it gives you how wide you can go. Some people go really wide, and some people keep it kind of nice and neat, and kind of something they can manage. Then we'll go to YouTube. YouTube is kind of the new thing for people when it comes to branding right now. The influencers have kind of brought back brought back YouTube as a thing that can really build a brand. The things that I would say you keep in mind with YouTube is it's video. It's not just pictures anymore. It's almost a step forward. You really have to think about the quality of the video, the editing, the length of your video. If you post a 1 hour video, I don't know how many people are going to watch the whole hour, but if you keep it between 10 to 15 and keep it frequent, maybe more people will engage with your material. The thing to also keep in mind about YouTube is the video you can have, as there's no limit in how many videos you can have, but you can definitely curate them based on the different things you talk about on your page. And that's where the playlist function comes in. So let's say for Phenomenal Woman, if they started a YouTube and they had a section that talked about things about Uganda, and then things about Switzerland, and then things about the US, and things like that, they could make playlists that were based on the different locations. So at least people can narrow down the videos based on location. You could also do it based on content. You can do it also based on, like, you can come up with programs. It's almost like TV, if you think about it. If you have different programs on your YouTube, you can make the playlist that way too. Then we will move on to something called Glassdoor. I don't know how comfortable or how many people have heard about Glassdoor, but this is honestly when I started looking for jobs, or got to the age where I had to look for jobs. Glassdoor was like my savior. Glassdoor is like LinkedIn, but the difference with it is it gives you a chance to review your employers. And also, if you're the one looking for a job, you can actually see what kind of employers these people are before you opt to work for them. So I'll explain how that works. So this first image I have is of a personal profile. So if I was applying for a job, right, I would, just like LinkedIn, I'll put in my employment, my work history, all of that stuff, and my accomplishments. And if somebody has worked with me before, they can actually leave a review on my page that talks about what kind of employee I was. That's how a personal page would work on Glassdoor. If you went into a business profile, let's say Allstate is a big insurance company in the US. On their profile, you can see what they make a year, how many employees do they have, what salaries do they pay for different like levels of employment. So if you really, like, when I started my first job, I had no idea what you're supposed to ask somebody for to be paid. So I kind of was like, well, Glassdoor is my savior, because I knew that, entry job, this is what, people are being paid, so I can negotiate from there. And that's the beauty of Glassdoor. So, yeah, the two things I would think about with when it comes to Glassdoor is you can see the kind of employer they are, and you can look at salaries and you can rate companies. So that's really a plus for them. Career Builder is really just a recruitment platform. You'll find jobs there. They're actually global. So if you're looking for employment, this is a really good place to go. The only thing that I would tell people to keep in mind is these recruitment pages now are no longer just put in my email and look at these companies. You also have to build a profile. You need to show like this is what I'm about, and you have to put your resume in there. So it's almost like there's a LinkedIn personal page in there, and then there's also the fact that you can look at all these jobs. And that Career Builder is really a good place to look at jobs specifically on the things you're interested in a specific area, which is great. And it's updated almost daily. Another one is Idealist. This is for all my friends who are kind of in the nonprofit organization. You're more into NGOs. This is the place for finding opportunities. So Idealist, this is a place where you can really start to think about how do I brand myself in the area of nonprofit organizations. So you still build a profile, you still do all of that fun stuff, but companies and organizations around the world do build profiles in Idealist too, which is great. So you can see the projects they've worked on. You can really see the people that have worked for them before. The beauty of this one is it will specifically tell you if it's an internship, volunteer opportunity, or a job, which with working in nonprofit organizations, you really need to know the difference of those three things for sure. So if there's anyone on here that has gone to a US-based university or has children who have gone there or are going there right now, Handshake is this new company, not really new, but they basically connect employers with students so they can be recruited right out of school. And that's what Handshake is. So they're basically, if you think of a career fair online, that's basically what it is. And the process of Handshake is you set up a profile with them, of course, keeping in mind like a professional image, my resume looks beautiful, keep my reviews coming and all of that stuff. And then you can actually follow the companies you would like to interview with. So for example, I went to Cornell, and what I used to do is whenever our career fair came around, which was in the spring, I would go onto my Handshake profile and look at the companies that were coming, and I would follow the ones I'm interested in, and they would schedule interviews with me. And when they schedule interviews with you, you can go talk to somebody, and they would give you feedback through Handshake. So that's another platform out there for the younger people. Monster is pretty similar to Career Builder. You're finding jobs, but you're also you can build a profile with them, whether you're a company or a person. This is a great place to if you can't find some jobs in other platforms, Monster usually has those jobs that are not posted on like the Indeed Glassdoors of the day. Indeed is also pretty similar to Monster, that it's a very job-based platform. It's based on proximity usually. So if you put in your location as Geneva, you're probably going to see jobs in Geneva. But the beauty of it is if you end up following a specific company you want to work for, maybe Partners in Health or the UN or something like that, their jobs from around the world will come up in your feed on your profile. So that's pretty interesting about Indeed. Now, for all my freelancers out there, if the 9-to-5 thing is not for you, you prefer to work remotely kind of thing, Upwork is the LinkedIn for freelancers. So this is a great place for you to post the skills that you have. And Upwork actually posts jobs specifically for freelancers. So maybe they need you to update a Wikipedia page or to work on a mobile app development team or something like that. That's kind of short term. People will post the jobs on here, but you also have to build a profile with them. I just find it really interesting with Upwork because even if you're looking for alternative streams of income, this is a great place to look. Freelancer is also for freelancers. I would say it's in the same league as Upwork. It's a great place to post what you're able to do, what you've done, the work that you've worked on. Freelancer has really worked well for people who are in creative work, like website design, graphics design kind of thing. They work really well in Freelancer, as well as people who are writers. So if you write op-eds or you like to write columns in specific, like on websites or in newspapers, this is a good place to look for opportunities like that. The beauty of both Freelancer and Upwork is they will tell you how much you're getting paid for it. So you can choose off of there, should I take this job, should I not? And then finally, we'll talk about websites. Websites is tough. It's one of those where you choose which one you want which website host you want to use. The most important thing for me that when I think of websites is it easy for you to use? Can you control a lot of your website traffic on this website host? Does it look appealing to you? So personally, I prefer Wix. A lot of people use WordPress if you're really into coding. I'm not that much into coding. Squarespace is really good. Honestly, all these up here are really good. If you're really a beginner and you don't want to be spending useless amounts of money on a website, Google Sites is a good place to start because they have new templates and they work really well.
Yeah.
So the most important thing I think when it comes to all of this is the authenticity of your story is what makes you stand out. So really, you should tell your story. And thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you, Patricia. That was really, really beautiful. I will go to the beginning and start with who am I? As you started and you said the most important thing about branding was who are you? Is when it hit me, and then somebody else had asked me on the side, sorry, Charity, are you the same person who did? And I realized, oh, I did not actually introduce myself. Yes, so my name is Charity Kesime, and I am a financial market specialist by profession, but also I'm a member of Phenomenal Women Global, focal point for you, handling it with Dana in Uganda, yeah, and Tina and quite a number of other ladies. And that is, yes, that is me introducing myself that I forgot to do before. Okay, Patricia, like all this information is like, I'm like feeling not overwhelmed. Like I knew the beginning, you know how you go LinkedIn, Facebook, what I'm like, yeah, I know that. And then you reach Glassdoor and Idealist and Handshake, and I'm like, okay, that is quite interesting. It's very good to have speak about new things that we can actually get into and explore to see how it works for each of us in different spaces. Thank you so very much. We shall get back to you. I've seen,
for sure.
Awesome. I have seen a few questions that are already coming in through to you. And I hope we can get into that. Just so we can manage time, I want to get through to Kristen from Secure the Bag Africa. Kristen?
Yes.
I'd like to see your beautiful face.
Okay. Here I am.
Awesome. There you go. Thank you. So Patricia has told us all about all these platforms. Yeah, they are so many. The truth about millennials now and the Gen Z generation is that we have such a short concentration span. Like on every, so to say, platform, we could spend about 5 or 10 minutes just looking for what is good, what is interesting, what is hitting us like immediately. So what I want you to get into is content marketing. Yeah, like what sort of things are going to get us immediately. It's not like our parents who will sit down and read a book and wait for, what you have to say so easily. Like the patience for the millennials and the Gen Z is just not there. That's the truth. You will find them, switching a platform like in an instant, after 5 minutes on Facebook, Instagram, from Instagram back to WhatsApp, and then back to, it's quite a lot. So how can we have a value out of the content that we put out there? How can we maximize it to get, ourselves branded in this awesome way?
Thank you so much, Charity. I'm going to share my screen with you now.
Awesome.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So, good evening, everyone, and good day to those of you who are in different time zones. My name is Christine Rita Namsobia Abankwa, and I'm going to be talking about growing your brand online through content marketing. About me, I'll tell you about that later. Let's get into what a brand is. So I have two definitions here that I really love a lot. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, says your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. The University of East Anglia defines it as a brand is the set of ideas a company or product stands for in people's minds, and it's shaped by that company or product's actions. So in short, a brand is an experience that you promise. Here are some things to consider. So people are going to define you based on how they interact with your business, good or bad. So it's people to really decide what your brand is because they are the ones responding to it. And you need to consider, how do you want people to feel when they experience your brand? Because a brand is an emotional experience. And does your content resonate with your target audience? Here's some things to consider when you are building the content of your brand. First of all, you need to do your research. Target audience, what do they look like? What is the profile or the ideal client avatar? What does your competition look like? What gaps have they left in the market? Have you done your SWOT analysis? So your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And all of this is market intelligence. Then define your mission and your vision, because these become your promise and your experience that you are promising the consumer. Then, of course, you look at the visuals. Your content needs to be eye-catching. It needs to be something that pulls us because, as you know, especially online, we are inundated with content all the time. And then, most importantly, consistency. And this means that whatever you've defined your brand to be, you apply to the entire business. So consistency brings to mind one of my favorite concepts, which is the golden thread. So if you think about a piece of thread, you weave it through cloth and it is consistent until it seals a gap, right? So this is basically how your company goals, values, and mission, vision are aligned throughout the various business functions. A lot of times brands fail because you are consistent in one part, say in your advertising, but your delivery is completely off. So this includes your staff attitudes, online presence, your pricing, aftercare, marketing campaigns, your sales strategy, and product quality, very important. So the content that you create needs to support this golden thread. And at the same time, all of this information is actually content for your content. So a lot of times when I work with clients, I just show them that what they have already is actually their business plan. You have enough already, you just need to maximize it. So now we're ready to market your content. The most important thing to remember about putting out content is adding value. So content marketing is basically about putting out intelligent, timely, valuable information without necessarily selling directly or promoting and advertising. So sometimes you do have to go for the hard sell. At the same time, you need to remember that people are always being sold to. And as human beings, we are naturally self-interested. We want to know, how does this benefit me? Why is this important? Why should I pay for this? Why should I give you my money? So when you put out your content, remember to educate and share knowledge, entertain and be interesting, encourage and inspire. And of course, this goes back to your brand, mission, vision. If you are not a humorous brand, don't force it. Rather go for educating.
Yeah.
So here are some methods of putting out content. So you have blogs, vlogs, audio, broadcast groups. So with the broadcast groups, WhatsApp has a functionality for creating groups, right? So we know groups, people are so tired of groups. They're invited to groups without their permission sometimes, but you can create a broadcast group where you send information to people and nobody else is part of that message. You can create podcasts, daily quotes and affirmations. So if you are in the service industry, for instance, you can put together beautiful quotes that you release often, inspirational quotes or value adding quotes. If you are in engineering, you can put out tips. If you're in business, you can put out tips and create and join community. So this can be in person, it can be offline, it can be online. So if you're looking at in person, what are the communities or what communities exist in your industry? Where are the major influences? Remember, success is like a staircase. Whichever step you are at, there's somebody trying to get there. And where you are, you're still trying to get up, right? So you want to constantly be building yourself and surrounding yourself with people who have done more than you, because what you focus on grows. So if you have people who can build you in your network, you are going to grow, and that helps you to create more content that educates your consumers. Webinars are an excellent way of adding value. This session in particular was organized by Phenomenal Women Global. For those of us who didn't really know what they do, now we know. They add value, they empower, they bring people together, they contribute to whatever body of knowledge. So this is an excellent way of creating a community, adding value and content marketing. And at the end of the day, we're going to want to know more about this organization. Free masterclasses. What are you really good at? Can you hold a masterclass where you teach people? Because this portrays you as a thought leader. It portrays you as somebody who knows their stuff. And when we buy, we want to buy from experts. Consider freebies as well. Is there anything that you can give to your customers free? And this is not just so that you can get anyone. This is so that you can give people a taste of what you offer, demonstrate your competencies, demonstrate the quality of your product or service, and also accept the fact that you're not for everybody and not everybody is for you, but your target audience, once they taste whatever it is you're giving, this will help to hook them. So remember, build trust and add value before going in for the sale. Don't over communicate. You want your clients to know that when they hear from you, you're adding value, whether through information or your product and service. Draw content from a variety of sources, current issues, industry updates, topics of national and international interest, and become a thought leader. So I just want to spend a bit of time on these last two topics. Where do you get your content from? First of all, what industry are you playing in? And what are you selling? Because as a business person, you are providing a solution. You are closing a gap. So in your content marketing strategy, you want to put across information that improves the customer's life and experience. If you are a nutritionist, this is a wonderful time for you to put out information about superfoods, foods that build your immune system, foods that detoxify you, for instance. You can do it through an audio. So here's another tip. If you take these three mediums, say audio, blogging, and vlogging, choose a topic, record a video of you giving information about that topic. Take that same topic, turn it into a short voice note, 3 to 5 minutes, that can easily be disseminated across a platform like WhatsApp. And then turn the same topic into a blog. So now you're covering 3 different mediums and 3 different types of consumer tastes. Because some people want to watch a video, some people want to read, and some people would rather have a voice note. And when you put together that content, remember that you're a thought leader. Because you're a business person, all of this business acumen, all your learning over the years has brought you to a point where you understand your market thoroughly. If you are a consultant, you understand your market thoroughly. If you're selling crafts or you're baking, whatever you're doing, you are now an authority. You have to be in the mindset, because you know people can also pick out when you're being inauthentic. So the first thing is you need to believe in yourself, believe in your learning, because you're qualified enough based on what you have experienced. So when you give this advice, just behave like you're a consultant. You're introducing people to the world of your industry. And so when you give out these bits and pieces of nuggets, you are marketing without necessarily saying, buy from me. You're showing them that when you are looking for this solution, I know this area so well, I'm the person who you should buy from. So if there's anything that you can take away from this, think of a few platforms that you can use, whether it's blogging, vlogging, audio, whatever it is, and then customize your content according to the platform. So if you're on Instagram, it's a very visual platform. So you don't want to overload people with text. I am a writer, so I tend to get carried away with words. That is really good for LinkedIn, a professional platform where you're putting out content, written content. And then Facebook, there's so many things that you can do with that. You can have live sessions as well. So basically, remember that you are qualified enough through your experience to become a thought leader. It's not about comparing yourself to those who've come before you. It's about understanding that where you are now as a business person and as somebody who has this knowledge, there are people who are waiting for you to empower them. And you have to do it through marketing your content, because at some point when you sell, you have already been verified. So very briefly about me. My name is Christine Rita Namsobia Efia Sewa Abankwa. I am of Ugandan and Ghanaian descent. I am currently based in Windhoek, Namibia. I am a vision implementer, life purpose activator, super connector, and platform builder. So what that means is I help people to bring their visions to life by connecting them to the people and the resources that they need. I build platforms and I help people to activate their life purpose. And this applies to whether it's for you or your business, because you are the one driving your business. I work as a management consultant, an SME business coach, and a creative director and a life coach. And I'm the founder of Secure the Bag Africa, Pan-African Success Accelerators, which you can find on Facebook. And it is a high-performance coaching platform where we bring together speakers, entrepreneurs, consultants, and coaches from across the continent and the diaspora so that we can empower each other, contribute to the African body of knowledge, and share our skills. In my mind, it's a way of also reversing the African brain drain and just channeling the knowledge that we gain from outside our countries back into our countries. I'm also a coach for the Purpose Accelerator Framework, which shows you how to win in life, career, and business using what you already have. It's a five-week coaching program, and you can get more information by emailing info@securethebagafrica.com. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope that I kept time. And
yes, you did.
I was really racing to keep time, and I wish you happy marketing.
Oh, thank you very much, Kristen. That was awesome. You are surely trailblazing, like for real.
Thank you.
it is so good to learn. One of the things that stood out for me is your brand is what people say that you are when you're not in the room. It got me thinking about some of the things, and personally as a charity, one of the things that I've always posted about on my social media pages is my daughter. So everyone that I meet and whatever, all they ever think or talk about is, or ask me about is her. And I'm like, nah, I thought, oh, then I realized that, you know what, it seems I'm carrying this on as me. And it's literally most of my content is about her or about her life growing or me raising her. So yeah, I realized I need to switch it up a bit into me now personally.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Kristen. That was really, really awesome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you as well.
We are coming to an hour in. I will shift right away to Diane. Diane, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Charity.
Awesome. Diane, we would like to learn about your DIY skills. Like, please bring us into this world that you just make things happen with.
Thank you, Charity.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Diane Komunda. I'm a fashion designer by profession, but really an artist. Yeah, because by the time you become the fashion designer, you've sort of gone through all these things. So I'm an oil painter, a graphics designer, if I decided to. But yeah, I'm really passionate about art. Like Charity said, I make things with my hands. And I'm here today listening to all the wonderful things these ladies have told us. And I'm going like, whoa, I can't. It's a bit much, yeah? And
like you can.
That, so many people that are in my field of work are like that. I'm here to actually talk about a platform that's an option for especially DIYs, artisans, guys that make stuff on the street that really cannot get into all that. I don't know. Like, I remember being part of a meeting and I was made a secretary, and the joke was I will go meetings, as in you really can't just get into all those things. So I want to introduce you to a baby of ours, that's Nzani. So Nzani is really for creatives. Whether you went to school for it or not, if you just have a skill that you can make stuff, with your hands. So yeah, they're like different people. So I am also an event decorator, and to create an event and come up with something unique, many times you will have to create stuff yourself, but you do not have the time to do all that stuff. So I work a lot with the carpenter off the road, I find that has a skill. And what I've found is that usually when you speak to them the first time, they will go like, it can't be done because of creating something new, but you're like, it's a skill you have. So Nzani has an e-learning platform where even in your skill, you can just come and learn, upgrade sort of, like people in the corporate world, you will have a workshop here, a conference here, and people that are on that level as, just artists, your carpenter next door or the way, none of them to a place where they are learning a little bit more. So we create a space that's for them, that's safe for them, that they can easily get into and learn an extra thing or two, but also giving them an opportunity to teach. And this opportunity to teach is you know, even for a stay-home mom that's crocheting at home, that can actually be a source of income, especially this, you know, post-COVID time. So just getting that skill that you have, what we do is we'll come, do a recording, do a video, and post it online. You'll share your skill, but you will also earn from it. And without getting into the detail of I have to get a company or build all the profiling that, you know, have been said before. So that's the e-learning. There's also just a space community, which is the hub. The Nzani hub is for the rest of us. I remember leaving school and thinking, take any job, because one, yes, you sort of have an idea about everything that's art, but also you have had classmates that all went on, and you're like, I can take any job because I know who I can call. The way we lost touch, you know, some people got into corporate jobs and are not doing, anyway, we really lost touch. So the Nzani Hub really is a space where those people now come together because we need each other. Think about, there's some really cool tables. I should have had some pictures. There are really some cool tables with, you know, a metallic stand and the tabletop is wooden. That is something that's going to be done by two different people. If your carpenter is to try and become a welder, you know, the outcome will not be good. You will, you know, because their skill, their craft is carpentry and not welding. So just bringing people together where you can collaborate together and come up with these products that the clients are actually asking for without too much hassle. So that hub has two spaces. So we have the, you know, online community, find whichever skill you need, but we also have a space where you can come physically, even for a DIY mom, and come into this space and build stuff yourself. So we'll have machinery that you can use. It's like a workshop, but you don't have to own the workshop. You simply, in a day, do whatever you need to do. Or there's machinery that you need that you do not have. This is a space that really can help you to do that. You walk in, you know, like what would be a library or an office, but you know, for the creative, yeah, it's your workshop. Yeah, so just for people to be able to do, so if you're stay-home mom, you know, that like me, to do some DIY stuff, you know, you need to drill holes through things, but of course you do not have that gadget. This is a space to just come in for a day, an hour or two, do what you need to do and get out. So those are the two angles for the, so for the artists, different crafts people to meet and you know, exchange. It's like networking, and then also to actually have a space, a workshop. It's like an, without actually having to own and, you know, deal with all the details of that. The last thing is the e-store. So, you know, post-COVID, how everyone is saying you need to go online, but there are people that are sitting there and they're like, how do I get the right pictures taken? How do I, right angles? How do I, it really just doesn't make sense. And sometimes for some people, I am simply making hair bands and I cannot make so many. Like, do I create an entire page for just my hair bands? I don't want to go direction. So what the shop is that for people that make handmade, unique stuff, and then now we market them for you. So it's like you have your own shop without having to deal with the detail of it. Because I know for the creative, you do not want to get lost in the admin, the selling. You really just want to make these beautiful things and get people. So that's what the e-shop will be. You simply make your stuff and with. But the beauty of the hub is that then now we are following you from learning. If you picked up a skill from a learning you learned something, create products, met the people that do the different parts that you can't do, and then created this product, and it's now in the shop and we are able to sell it. So we almost take a journey with you. We have done this even for, where you come in, learn for a few weeks. At the end of the week, we actually have a market where the kids, get to learn. But then also what the platform, things like this, we'll get people that, will break these things down a bit for us to be able to actually market ourselves. Because of course, you need to be able to speak for your product at some point. So that's Nzani, that's the dream. And for me as an artist, it's really exciting. So really, hoping that everyone can jump on board.
Okay, thank you, Diane. That was really, really awesome. What I wanted to find out is two things. Where one can find Nzani, as in where you guys located, the physical place. And the other thing is you talked of children. So at what age can I bring my 3-year-old? to be creative too, and maybe do, I don't know, robotics or stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we are on Facebook as Nzani Hub. It's Nzani Creative Hub, but Nzani Hub on Facebook. And we also have a website, nzanihub.com, which is now really the platform where you would be able to go and then get all the, find all the platforms, the learnings. And I know I have said it's for artists mostly, but I mean, if you have a skill that you can teach an entrepreneur, it's still a platform for you as well. But actually, if you can just get on your Facebook and type Nzani Hub, you will find us there, and we keep posting everything that's new about Nzani there. Of course, the beauty is that people to run the thing. So Instagram, like Patricia had said, all those platforms, we'll get the experts to do that so we can do the creating.
Awesome. I know that part. Really. Thank you so much, Diane. That was really, really good. It would have been nice actually to see your products. Like, there's nothing that tells of your good work other than when people have to see. I hope we can all get onto Nzani at some point and see what is available for now. Cool. So I think that is it from the ladies. I will be taking in a few questions. I'll be reading a few questions and we can hear from what our listeners have been saying. If you have any commentary or questions, please put them through the chat. First and foremost, Marisa Were, I think this is for you, Patricia. Okay. She asked, how soon should someone get a LinkedIn account?
Like yesterday. if you're a person that's looking to find a place where you can professionally network, LinkedIn is your best friend. Please get an account. I know it's not easy. It takes time. Not every beautiful LinkedIn profile took one day to build, but get one. Start somewhere.
Okay. Thank you very much, Patricia. So as soon as I am ready to do something, I can just get one.
Charity, you can call me. I will work beside you.
Goodness gracious me. Thank you very much, Patricia, for that. Okay. So another question. Have you come across any LinkedIn tutorials? That's from Marilyn.
Is that to me?
I believe so.
Yes. So LinkedIn actually updated a lot this year. There's a lot of stuff that I was just like, what's going on? They have a YouTube page that has their learning. So anything that is LinkedIn learning associated, just type in LinkedIn on YouTube. They have their learning page on there. It has all their videos.
All right. The other question, thank you very much, Patricia. The other question is from Priscilla. She's asking, how does one join Phenomenal Women? So the email address, I think we shall share that at the end, or I will do a screen share that has all the contacts and contact info for Phenomenal Women Uganda. I hope this is from Uganda. If not, we can realign you to either Boston or UK, whichever fits you perfectly. Let me see. Patricia, you have a comment that said, very nice presentation from Leyena Miso.
Thank you.
So Isaac from Uganda, wow, this is quite a commentary. I don't know how I can summarize this. Should I read? Oh, wow. Oh, just wow. It's not a paragraph. It's not one paragraph, but it has so much very valuable content. I see. Okay. Let me first deal with the questions, I think, then I will get back to what he has to say. It's very valuable. This should be for Kristen. Yeah. So, okay, Marilyn eventually got the name that she was asking for. She wasn't hearing Nzani very clearly. So I think she can hear, she got that because somebody responded to that. So question for Kristen. How are your purpose and business linked? How are purpose and business linked? Sorry, we can't hear you. Unmute.
I'm unmuted now.
Okay, great.
Okay, that is a very good question. So I have to answer it in parts. First of all, a business is driven by a person, especially the passion careers that we're seeing now. So that's where people decide to make a business out of something that they're very good at. And it's very important to understand your purpose, because within your purpose, you define your gifts, which come naturally to you. You define the skills that you've learned during your life, and you see how to bring these things together so that you can maximize your impact in your business. But the thing with purpose is that you can maximize your life as well and your career as well. And then when we take the concept of purpose to business, you're now looking at your unique value proposition. What is it that really makes you stand out? And that is also rooted in purpose. Because if it doesn't come naturally to you, and if you're not living a purpose-driven life or conducting a purpose-driven business, it's easy for you to fall by the wayside and lose your focus.
Oh,
and
that's
also
true.
forget what you actually have, because so many times we're looking externally and not maximizing what we already have.
Okay, that's really good. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I think I don't have. You can go to. Okay. I think I don't. Are there any more questions? You can raise your hand or say something. Anyone who wants to add on to what has been said, any more content that they have. For more information, I will be reading just through what Isaac has said. Let me start now so that as we see if there'll be any other. So Isaac from Uganda said, I think this was to Christine, you mentioned something unique about no, this was for Patricia. You mentioned something unique about posting 3 times a day or frequently. Working with a digital marketing firm based in the US, we have learned, and through mentors too, that customers buy with your personal and business brand after 33 touch points. So we developed a content calendar that has got clients walking in. Oh, okay. This is quite interesting. So in regards to posting too, we have had the privilege of content hacks, where one video can be repurposed for long articles, quotables, or quote cards, short articles, videos, and Q&As, as well as business ideas. With the allocation of time, I can share these with the team. Isaac, are you still on? I don't know if you can raise his hand or something like that. Some
yes,
clarity.
I am here.
Oh, Okay, cool. Just give me a minute then. Thank you. Some clarity on websites. WordPress is as easy as the Microsoft Office and doesn't need any coding skills. Okay, that's new. Know that. So I think in the interest of time, instead of having to read all through this, I would prefer that Isaac has a go, like says something so we can hear from him directly instead of me having to read through what he has written. It's quite a lot of good information. Isaac, over to you, please.
Thank you, Christine. So I was just listening into what everyone was saying, and I thought I would chip in. So
Thank you.
very excellent presentations from the team. It's been, I mentioned down there that in the chats that it's one of the most, if not the most amazing Zoom calls that I've had with a couple of people that understand the digital space.
Awesome.
And, yeah, so there's been so many people moving around calling themselves digital marketers.
Marketers. Oh, okay.
Exactly. And for me, it's all about results. You see, if you cannot show me results, then I do not believe in what you're saying. You see that? So it's the same principle I have with mentors, that if you're going to mentor me, first show me your bank account, because it then shows me that whatever you're doing is actually working. So yes, there's been, I would call it a privilege, but also learning on my side. Because of the access to the mentors that we have. I'm talking about people like Grant Cardone, I'm talking about people like Gary Vee, I'm talking about people like Russell Brunson. These are online entrepreneurs, and we've really made a lot of money online and usually share what the 1% usually do not share with the 99% of the people in the world. So I was chatting with Christine and I told her I could develop an article on phenomenal women in less than 5 minutes. And she gave me those eyes of, how possible is that? And it's very possible because most of the time we're online, we are looking for what everyone is looking for. And we're not asking ourselves, what if I could get a shortcut to this? Or what kind of tool can I get that would repurpose all of this into everything that I need to share online? So for example, just looking through my notes, when Patricia talked about what to post, in my head I was like, okay, should I share the content multiplier with the team, or should I share the content machine with them? Because these are tools that have been used by guys online. I mean, if you go to a guy like Gary Vee's page, he's one of those guys who's making like lots of money online. You'll find that most of his posts have over the place. I mean, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, and they're happening at the same time. And one asks themselves, how is this guy doing it? And of course, they'll never share with you, but this is one of those methods that they've developed just a video. So he has a cameraman moving around with him, gets that one video and puts it into this tool, and this tool is able to split it. And I mean, it's just amazing. You'll have articles, you'll have quotables, you'll have images, you'll have, what do you call them? One-on-one conversations you'll have, and this is split on all the platforms automatically. Now, there's also a tool that splits this content.
Oh, he just muted himself.
Oops, sorry. Let me try to run. Okay, great, cool.
Yeah.
He's back.
And there's tools that would be able to repurpose this across Facebook, across LinkedIn, across YouTube, I mean at the same time. There's also tools that can be able to repurpose this live session into groups. Let me give an example. So I'm just going to share this with the team because you guys are amazing. Yeah. So one of the ways that we found out last year, there's so many people who have been running ads online and getting very little traction and also little customers coming in. Okay. And then in one of the platforms, there's a lady who was getting a lot of money from on the online business, but was not running any ads. So the question was, what is she doing differently? And it was really something simple that we take for granted each and every day. So the idea was that, let me give an example. So this is Phenomenal Women. And if each of us joined 20 groups on either NGOs that support women, women empowerment every day, 20 groups. And I mean, just joining them each and every day. And what you do in those groups is that you look for people who have questions, concerns, insights about women. So what that does is that because you have a group of about 20,000 or 30,000 women, and you add value to someone says, okay, I've been having challenges with my husband, and he's been flirting with a maid. What do I do? You say, well, I could share with you a masterclass by one of our mentors, relationship coaches called Esther Perel. If you're interested, I can give it to you for free. Okay. Now the key word there is for free. Why? Because people want free stuff. Now what that does is that in a group of about 10, 20,000 people, you're going to have, in most cases, 10 or 20 people come directly to your inbox and say, well, I'm also interested. How can I get this? Now the idea is not to give everyone the stuff for free. The idea is you say, for the first 5 people that contact me, this is going to be free. The rest, I will have to share with you a discounted offer or things like that. Trust me, that is going to have you so many more clients, as many as possible. Now, I would also warn that you do not share links to, I've been trying to do this a lot, sharing links of my WhatsApp phone number on different groups. Facebook is banning those because they call that cross-platform marketing, and they do not like that. So what you do is you use the keywords. I would like to give you this for free. I can share with you an article for free. I can share with you a video for free, things like that. And I can share this with the team. Regarding, Christine talked about something very interesting about writing. I'm going to share the tools with you and the rest of the guys as well. But there's something very interesting that has happened. In the last 6 months, there's been an innovation of someone always asked, how do I generate income off WhatsApp? I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that. Yeah, that Facebook is being used, Instagram, Snapchat, and all these things, but how do I generate leads off WhatsApp? And so there was an app that was developed to answer this question. It's called WhatsApp. Okay, so what WhatsApp does is, and I don't know if you guys have a paper and a pen, and this is going to be an easy one. So you just go to a website called d7leadfinder.com. That is D.
I beg your pardon?
It's a website called D7. D is capital D, and then the 7, the number. So d7leadfinder.com. So what D7 does for you is you'll just type in, for example, I need customers in Kampala who are in the real estate market. I need their phone numbers, I need their emails, I need their social media handles. How do I get this? So when you have that list in a day, unfortunately, you have to pay for the software, not on my side, but the company that owns it. So what happens is if you bought a plan for a month, for example, for let's say $24, I think that's the cheapest. They would give you as many as 5,000 leads a day. So the next question is, I have all these leads. How do I convert them into actual customers? You see that? So let's say you generated all these leads, they're into your Excel, and you wanted to send them WhatsApp messages. So what you do is when you've installed WhatsApp on your laptop, yeah, all you need to do is feed the list to the WhatsApp platform, generate a very beautiful message. I can share templates of what messages convert and things like that. Then you send it out. Yeah. So the beauty about the software is it shows you whoever has opened your message, whoever has seen your message, whoever has ignored your message, and whoever is currently your message. You see that? But that's just what I thought I'd share with you guys. So just off the bat, just to end this, there's tools that you can use like vid.io. Vid is double E. Yeah.
Okay.
Double ed.io. You can always check it out. There's a training on that. You can use repurpose.io also. I'll also share. Yes, repurpose.io. That's used to sort of share videos on the other platforms at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
You can use the Content Fly. You can use medium.com. And there's so much more I would share, but let me just end there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Isaac. That was an awesome share. I think we shall have to get in touch with you for more, deeper talks, and we can understand some of these things greater. I don't know if that would be okay with you, first and foremost.
That's okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for joining us also. It's always good to get quite a lot of information like that. I don't know if there's any other, I don't think I have any more questions pending on my side. But for now, we have shared the screen for Nzani Hub. Yeah. That is how you can find Nzani Hub online. And those are some of the products that they have created. Handiwork, beautiful stools and stuff like that. Okay. So also the other, on to, I think, Priscilla's question on how to join Phenomenal Women. You can send us an email. I think I'm going to share that. It's going to be shared in a few minutes. Okay, there we go. Phenomenal Women Uganda or Phenomenal Women Global. Or I think what would be easier is if you sent an email to info@phenomenalwomenglobal.com, and dependent on which country you are getting through to us from, we shall align you with the focal person in that country, the UK, US, and Boston, or Zimbabwe, whichever it is, Uganda or Swiss. It will be great to hear from you all. Since there are not any more questions, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining us. We hope this has been enriching. I feel like
Kristen,
I have learned some. Yes, Isaac.
Yes, just a quick one. So I forgot to
Yes.
answer one more question about the websites and how they're different. So over the years, we've visited different business owners, and there's always been one question. Someone talked about appeal and things like that, and for me, it's always been about: are you getting customers off your website, or the website is for beauty purposes? Yeah, because for everything that you're doing, you've got to measure. You see that, and so we went deep into that, and so you'd find that why I prefer WordPress to, for example, a PHP website that needs coding is because it's easy for me to edit out content. It's easy for me to add plugins. Those are tools that help you tell if you're converting or not. Yeah, but it's also easy because you do not need to know IT to use a WordPress website. Yeah, it's very simple. I learned how to design a website in an hour just by using a tool called Elementor. Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because always someone will walk up to you and say, I can do your website. But as a business owner, the pain point in your mind is, am I looking for a website or am I looking for customers? You see that? So you've got to answer both by saying, I need a website that is able to convert. I need a website that is able to tell me, this is how many people that are coming to my website, but also, these are the people that are staying on this page longer. For example, most people tend to stay on the gallery longer than they go to the home section. And we've always advised business owners, why not move the gallery to the first side? And they're thinking, well, that doesn't look good. Yes, it doesn't look good, but it's going to convert because you say 80% of your customers are staying on the gallery section or about me section more than they are going to the contact section. You see that?
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but sorry, yeah. So that also opens it up. But we've also found out that, for example, during this pandemic, that most business owners, I don't know if you're aware, in the US, are actually making tons of money using automation. Okay, I'm just going to share a site we had the privilege of being given. I don't know if the guy was drunk or something, but he gave us a website that has, I think, almost all the automation tools that you need as a business owner that would sort of ease the process of you checking on your clients. If a client, for example, came to the Phenomenal Women Facebook page and said, I would like to know more, it upsells that person up to the point the person says, I would like to buy. It's different from from the chatbots that Facebook gives you. This one actually follows you up, gets your information, your phone number, gets your email, and everything is done there. It sells for you basically.
Okay, that's awesome.
I thought I'd share that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Isaac. We shall be in touch so that we can get more information from you. Yeah. Because you have quite a lot. Thank you very, very much. Before we close, I would like to have one more word from the panelists, from Patricia, Christine, and Diane. Patricia?
Thank you
Any
everyone
closing?
for being here, for being present, for listening to my presentation. I will email it to Phenomenal Women, whoever would love to check out all those platforms, like the 1,000,001 platforms, feel free. But I guess the most important thing I can say, for someone that is rather comfortable with the digital space, but also wants to be true to me as a person, is authenticity is everything. If you don't do the work to figure out what's authentically real about you before you go into the digital space, you can lose yourself really quickly. So really take a second to do the work before you get into it. But thank you.
Awesome. Authenticity. Awesome. Thank you very much, Patricia. Kristen, your last
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much to the organizers for creating such an amazing platform and bringing us all together. And then I would say for all of us, we can just draw parallels between the 3 presentations and incorporate everything. So 1, which online platforms should you use? 2, what sort of content can you create? And 3, Deanne came in with a platform to actually get all your work out there.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much, Christine. Deanne. Oh, Deanne, I think as you come on to give your last remarks, I think this must be for you. Samantha says she's a teacher and she needs someone to help with a wardrobe change. Thanks. So get in touch with Samantha.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Charity. Yeah, just to say thank you to the organizers, to Phenomenal Women, for just putting it together. Yeah, it's gonna help so many more people. And yeah, ladies, it was really nice to meet you. Whoa, the wealth of wisdom.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. Christine is a platform builder or whatever. So we'll get in touch. Yeah, just keep connected. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you very much, Deanne, too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for being a part of this call, this Zoom call. I encourage you all, whoever is not a part of the great movement, to join in and be part of Phenomenal Women. If you need any other information, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. info@phenomenalwomenglobal.com. And I will say that again, info@phenomenalwomenglobal.com. And we shall definitely be in touch with you. Remember, we are all about sharing knowledge, skill set, and mentoring other people, like the next generation. There just has to be great people out there. So thank you all so much. You have been such a wonderful listeners, like listening people, like you don't see. Well, I'm getting out of hand with this. As in, I just can't imagine that I have to speak to people I can't see, but they're seeing me. It's unfair.
And thank you, Charity, for being such an amazing and patient moderator.
Oh, thank you too.
You could DJ.
I know, right? All right, guys, it's been real. Thank you so much for getting on board. I hope there will be a next time. There'll definitely be a next time, and we shall actually be communicating what we've been expecting. Patricia, are you hosting from Boston, Phenomenal Women Boston? Is it next month?
Yes, June 11th. We are reconnecting with Phenomenal Women in the US chapter, and we're actually feeling the temperature of what's happening and what people are looking for in terms of more information about support, motivation. So we're hosting a reconnecting event on June 11th.
Awesome.
And our time zone is horrible for Ugandans, but we'll try to be as accommodating as possible.
As we have tried to be accommodating as possible.
Exactly.
Okay.
So keep an eye out. I will be sharing something as soon as possible, but we would love to see all of you there. We'd love you guys to meet the guys in the US for sure.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Patricia. We shall definitely be in touch with you over that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And that is
Thank
it
you.
for me and everyone else. Bye-bye.
Bye.